What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another Beta Memoirs. And as we can see, SPX rollover is not quite done. OPEX week is not quite done. Things are selling off. There is no true reason why everything is selling off. I know the market in itself, the inflation stuff is going to keep coming up. Core CPI came out. It was actually better than expected. It came under. The market actually popped. And then from that point, it sold off towards the end of the day. Being said, it was below expectations. It's not saying it's low, but it's still below expectations. And that's all that matters at this point. So we have to see. There's also some other core, I guess there's some stuff in the core CPI that's been left out. Tapering is still something that's being talked about. I know as far as tomorrow we got import price index, Empire State Index, industrial production, capacity utilization, all that stuff tomorrow. So it's a big week for data in general. So that's something to keep in mind. And then also today we had Gensler on as well, talking in front of Congress. He talked a lot about Bitcoin, talked a lot about particular companies like Robinhood and their interaction, especially with the execution of trades and the importance of investing in the stock markets. So there was a lot of that talk today. So there was a lot of back and forth battle today, but ultimately what really took us down again, SPX rollover. Yesterday we tried to push towards the end of the day. We didn't quite recover the dip that we had on Friday. And then today we just pretty much popped because of the news with the CPI data, and then just rolled over for pretty much the rest of the day. We're still holding, although my biggest thing is, let's actually look at the SPX here. We broke below the 20. So in my mind, we're still getting ready to see 44, about that 44.16 mark. That 44.20 mark is really what I'm looking at for a bounce. Now, SPX has really been holding that 50. So if it does break below that 50, from that point on the daily, then we can see probably some pretty heavy selling. But as you can see, it's been holding the 50 very well. So that's ultimately what might be the concern. Again, there's no real catalyst to send us down. I know there's a lot of stuff going on in China, which could potentially be something bigger when it comes to, I believe it's the real estate market. But ultimately right now, the talk of a crash, a tapering, they're not really going to do anything. We do have the FOMC, a meeting, I believe, in 2 weeks. I think the Powell stuff is next week from what I've overheard. But ultimately, everything is still pretty bullish. Everything is very bullish. The tapering and everything is just pointing to the fact that the market is still going to need help. Everything is still pointing growth. Everything is still pointing as far as having a big push into the holiday season here. But we can't just push. We've pushed very hard, essentially for the past almost 3 months. Now we're finally starting to roll over, which seems like forever that we're rolling over, and it's very slow. And a lot of times I think that the reason why this is, again, because the SPX rollover, options expiration this week, it's all happening in 1 week. So we're getting a little bit more selling than usual. But it's not out of the norm. So that's something to keep in mind. And so we want to watch and see what happens. QQQ. Looks like it broke the wedge here, but ultimately the 1 hour wedge it doesn't really matter. It is holding the 20. Again, as long as it holds above that 375, tech can look good. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if we do come back down and at least try to test the 50. It's what I'm kind of hoping we're going to see some between now and October. Maybe we get a little bit of a pop here off the 20, which normally is what I like to play, is the first bounce off the 20. get a nice little pop off QQQ, and then possibly sell October at some point, some catalyst. We'll bring us down here into the 50, but we'll have to see how that works. But everything, I'm still very bullish on everything. Not at all. There's no catalyst to send us down. Nothing is that big at the moment that's been floating around that's going to send us down. But being said, as far as watch list, as you all know, if you're watching my videos, you know I haven't been really going much with a watch list. I do have a couple I am watching. I am watching Roblox, Snap, TDD, and Square. Being said, I want to see what the market does, because if the market does turn, the SPX rollover stops, we're going to start running up, I think, very quickly and very fast. And being said, you want to be in your Tesla, you want to be in your Googles, your Facebooks, your Apples when that happens, when that turnover happens. So those are always some of the top ones I'm looking at. But I also want to try to take advantage of some of these really good stocks that have been beaten down a little bit to go into the holiday season, like your Roblox, your Snap, your TTD, and your Square. So let's take a look at those real quick. Roblox being the first one. I know Roblox is one I've been looking at for a while. Like I said, the 82 mark is something I really like. The nice thing about this, possibly looking around that 81.30 mark would be perfect. Then keep a tight leash here at the 80, probably about the 80.30 mark or so for stop. If it does go below that, then I would wait until I got back down to the 73 mark. I really wanted a 73, but it's been struggling to sell off. It's been extremely strong. Like I said, I think it's creating a base here at this 82 mark. But something I want to watch tomorrow, especially if the market starts to turn. I want to get a position in shares in this, possibly even calls. But I want to see, because I want to load into the holiday season. Again, I'm not expecting a crash. This isn't financial advice. But there is no true catalyst that's going to make us crash at this point. Now, next year, it might be a little different. There could be a lot more that happens. Maybe something that happens over the winter months that possibly could be a catalyst with the variance. But we'll see. We definitely take that in stride. I'm not trying to look that far away. We're trying to look the next couple of days, next couple of weeks. No major events really, aside from Powell. And again, debt ceiling is another thing that's been coming up. But as always, they always seem to fix debt ceiling issues at the last minute. They just like to dramatize it a little bit. But nonetheless, they always come to some kind of agreement on something, and then it gets pushed from that point, which essentially is going to make the Fed have to do some kind of tapering, which is buying assets at this point. That's going to have to cut down by the end of the year to kind of help alleviate that debt ceiling. Being said, next one I got is Snap on here. So Snap is the next one. Again, Snap, very good. 70 I like as support. And keep a tight stop on 70. If it wants to break below that, I think 68 is the next one I want to try to hit at to buy. Again, this one, it destroyed earnings. I think it came 10% over estimates on all earnings. And so this is one of those ones I like for any major dips in. So something I do want to watch for tomorrow. TTD is the other one. This one's been holding the daily actually very good. It's actually at the 200 EMA. I've actually missed a couple different entries on here. I wanted to get this first bounce here, but as long as this holds, this 70 mark is what I'm looking at. So tomorrow I'll probably try to get in at the 70 mark, as long as the market's not selling off crazy. Again, if it breaks support, you definitely want to cut quick on this one. But you have to understand too that with SPX rollover, the index is completely off from what the individual stocks are doing right now. You have to wait till the rollover essentially happens, and then after that point, the index starts to make sense with the stocks in itself. Again, the index I've noticed today, there's a lot of good stuff that had weight that was holding, but the index was selling off very fast because of the rollover. So that's something you can definitely see and definitely pay attention to. It's those little things that you pay attention to, and it's not always the news. It's knowing where to look. So being said, the next one I have is Square. Square is one I really do like. Been wanting to get in one for a while. I really like that 235 mark. Again, 200, I want to load at 200, but it's not going to hit exactly 200. So you essentially got this, it came as low as a 37.91. So anywhere essentially from here to essentially that 230 mark is where you're going to want to look at. When it starts to come down, if it starts to stall, mark your levels. I have a couple different levels here. Obviously, this red zone here is where we popped right out of, although I did miss it because I thought the market was going to sell more than what it did. But it's already come down quite a bit. And it does have price targets, I believe, over 300. I think I saw a couple over 310, 320 or something like that. So Square is definitely one, like I was talking about before when I was talking about Roblox and Snap. But those are ones that have done really well in earnings, and I know will continue to do well. So you want to keep an eye on those ones that sell and continue to buy back in on them when they sell off. And that's what I'm trying to do with Square, especially going into the holiday season. I think the only other one, US, where is this one? UPST is one I've really been watching. The dips have been buying up. It's taking forever to sell off on this one. But where it's at now, as long as it continues to play range here, might be good. But if I could get it again down this 253 mark-ish around here with that support, the zone and support around there, I think would be perfect. And then obviously have a stop right underneath there. Yes, I want to take essentially shares in this for the long haul going forward, but ultimately too, I've been playing calls on and off on this thing as well. I'm just spinning in the zones because it does play the zones very well, and has enough volume and liquidity, which is very nice as well too. So, but made it this far. I don't want to make this too long. It is only Tuesday. So if you have made it this far, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you've never done so. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.